The Commission for Catholic Education this Friday examined best possible ways to bring in profitable education to young Cameroonians. Members of the Commission at the National Episcopal Conference of Cameroon are meeting in Yaoundé. And the residents of Great Support Neighborhood in Boya are currently grappling with the alarming presence of falling Eneo electric poles and exposed wires. This hazardous situation has become a common occurrence in the area, causing concerns and fears among the residents. Good evening and welcome to Divine Mercy Prime. Those were the headlines for tonight's newscast. Their full readouts will be yours in a moment. Education stakeholders within the church in Cameroon have once more evaluated their mission, that of liaising with the state of Cameroon to give young Cameroonians a better future through education. This as the Commission for Catholic Education met with the bishops of Cameroon in their ongoing plenary session in Yaoundé. Joyce Bong, who is currently in Yaoundé, now gives us more insights into these discussions.
Just like every commission, the Commission for Catholic Education, which has as mission to liaise with the state of Cameroon on behalf of the bishops on issues of education, presented their report to the bishops of Cameroon at the ongoing 49th Plenary Assembly in Yaoundé. One of the points raised during this commission meeting was the respect of minimum wage by Catholic schools.
This time around, meeting the bishops, we had to put before them the whole issue of the minimum wage, which has changed from 36,270 to 60,000 for education. And of course, we know fully well that we cannot raise sufficient money from school fees to be able to pay everybody in the school setup a minimum of 60,000 a month. But we are saying that we need to look at the situation and see how we can accommodate this, because at the same time we have got to act in legality. We are not a state within a state, and so we need to be able to follow what the state says, and at the same time, as Catholic education, we need to be able to add to what the state prescribes, because we are there for quality education. We are there for moral excellence, we are there for academic excellence.
While working towards addressing these concerns, the National Secretary for Catholic Education has called on both employers and employees in the Catholic education sector to be very considerate and take into account the realities of the different areas.
The teachers need to know the milieu in which they work. I'll give you a very concrete example. If you have a diocese whose schools are mostly rural and whose fees do not go beyond 20,000, you collect, for instance, 20 million a year, and you need to spend 50 million on salaries, taxes, and social insurance dues. How do you perform a miracle to be able to pay 12 months on 12? It's very difficult. And I think this is where our teachers need to be human as well. They need to realize that they are in a situation that is real. They need to know their situation, the situation in which they work, and not to demand advantages that are not even possible. Okay. The minimum wage is given by law. Okay. Now, the minimum wage came after. The teachers were already there. Now it is up to each diocese to sit down with its own teachers and say, this is our situation. How do we proceed, given the fact that we have got to work in legality. And there, both the employer and the employees need to come to an agreement. And that agreement will be what we call a protocol agreement.
With regards to the prevalence of some social ills in school milieu, the National Secretary beckoned on all chaplains, chaplaincy teams, disciplinary masters and mistresses to up their game by getting closer to each student while making sure that they adhere to the Catholic teachings on good morals. He equally advised parents not to be contented by just paying tuition fee and buying didactic material for their children, but to actively participate in following up their children's education.
Back here in Buea Diocese, preparations are at peak with some diocesan parish choirs towards their Easter musical concert this Sunday, April 14th, 2024. These concerts are meant to show their talents and spread the good news of Jesus risen from the dead through songs. Our reporter Joseph Otto spoke to one of the presidents of the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral Choir Moliko Buea to know their level of preparedness and now reports.
Like the Titanic, various choirs in the church continue to animate the liturgy through their beautiful renditions and concerts. This year does not remain indifferent, as some parish choirs in the Diocese of Buea are preparing for their respective musical concerts come Sunday, April 14, 2024. In this light, the choirs of St. Andrew's Parish, Munya, and Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral are putting hands on deck to ensure a successful musical concert comes Sunday, April 14, as a way to show their talents and share the good news of Jesus Christ through music. Being first of its kind in the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral Parish, the President gives reasons for this concert and preparations made.
So the purpose of the concert is to celebrate the joyous moment of Easter and to spread hope, unity, and love through the universal language of music. This concert will be carefully curated to comprise of Cameroon songs, African gospel music, and some classicals that have been well arranged to uplift the spirit of the Christians. We also have guest choirs like the St. Peter and Paul's Parish Choir and the St. Cecilia Youth Choir Bamaka. Our concert, for example, the concert has 3 parts, like I said. So for these three parts, we have gone through a series of advices on how to go about it. So we have 3 different costumes which the choir will put on for these 3 different events. We've gotten contact with some professionals who will come and help us and film the event, because the event will be broadcasted live online on our Facebook page, and it will be covered and it will be broadcasted to on the Divine Mercy radio and television channel. We've hired a DJ who will come and supply us with sound quality speakers and mics fitting for the Divine Mercy concert. We've also put in place mechanisms to get very good and educated MCs to help facilitate the event.
Meanwhile, much is expected from this maiden event, as the President recounts.
It is going to be different in the sense that it won't just comprise of classical songs. We have a blend of classical, African gospel music, and then Cameroonian songs. And these songs will be well elaborated on. Before each song, we'll make our Christians will know the purpose of why we're taking this song, for what purpose. And we will not just do the normal singing. Our choreography and everything is designed in a way to uplift the spirit of the Christians. We hope that by doing this, due to these difficult times in our country, people might be elevated and somehow happy for once through the universal language of music.
Like Elvis Presley, gospel music is the purest thing there is on this earth.
Officials responsible for higher national diploma program defense at the Catholic University Institute of Buea have applauded the efforts of over 40 students who defended their higher national diploma this April 12, 2024. The defense took place at the university, supervised by the accredited staff for the higher national diploma program. Nadeshme was at this defense and brought back this report.
As early as 8 a.m. Friday, April 12, Higher National Diplomat students of the Kalik University Institute of Buea campus had begun defending their academic internship reports in the presence of family members, friends, and academic staff.
If you burn it, it will just marking the tax, but it will not break. That's what we call fireproof.
Centimeters in concrete, 40 centimeters or 10 centimeters in concrete, but before the martins were placed and the pillars were planted.
From the School of Business, Information, Engineering, Agriculture and Natural Resources, the defense performance was excellent. The coordinator of the Higher National Diplomat Defense Program, Barrister Nsu Dixon, at the end of the first session, congratulated the students for a job well done, encouraging those who didn't do well to work harder in the upcoming National HND examination.
I am first of all overwhelmed with the preparedness of the students. It has been very great, and it's one of its kind. I also want to encourage the students who are still to defend tomorrow to pick up the same spirit with the other students who have defended already. I want to advise them to pick it up and do well, to stay focused, not only taking the defense as the first step, but should focus on their HND, which is coming up soon, the practicals and the written part of the examination.
Many of these students are defending their Higher National Diplomat for the very first time. To them, it was a sweet, bitter moment facing the jury. They shared their high points and challenges.
It was our defense, and the topic I was defending on is loan recovery techniques. I carried out my internship in a financial institution, NFC Bank, and it is very important to follow up your customers in order to retrieve your loans. It was some point challenging, but thank God I was able to go through it, and I thank God for giving me an A in my defense.
I decided to focus on graphic design, and my internship topic was visual branding and logo design. Topic visual branding and logo design is going to help society in the sense that, for example, particularly logo design, many people do logos in very complicated manner, and keeping aside the complicated aspect of it, they do a logo and they lack the knowledge to present the logo.
While evaluating their performances, the president of the Kalik University Institute of Buea, Reverend Father Bartolomeo Anyangwu, was very positive about the remarks of the students.
It has been moving on smoothly. From what I've seen and observed myself, I think also that the students have been adequately prepared, and they are also responding positively to this important aspect in their intellectual formation, intellectual journey, above all in their respective specializations.
Despite few corrections made during the first session of the defenses, the students scored pass marks ranging from A, B+, and B.
Residents of the Great Sopo neighborhood in Buea are living in fear as they witness Eneyo electric poles collapsing into whole houses as well as roads. Our reporter, Jude Mbaku, stops around that area and cautions that if immediate action is not taken there is a high risk of electrocution due to the negligence of Eneyo Cameroon. Here is his report.
The rainy season has returned, bringing with it difficulties for the residents of Buea as they contend with the officials of the power supply company Eneyo. In the Great Sopo neighborhood, the situation is regrettable, with fallen electric poles that are unable to withstand the strong winds. These deteriorated poles break the cables, leaving them exposed and posing a significant risk to the uncomfortable inhabitants. The fear is even greater with these houses where poles have damaged their roofs, causing residents to live in constant fear of potential electrocution. The vulnerable residents of Great Sopo neighborhood expressed their frustration as all their efforts to persuade Eneyo officials to replace the poles have been in vain.
I want ask and say, now where the pole, it don't fall. Thank God say it don't harm no man. But if for hand picking they ever turn for corner. Now God make them that they no pass for that side. So even the big key picking they for do her. If the big key na big man they for do her. Now we don't fall on top mazin. Now they will fix mazin or na rule will fix them. Would you fear? As at that people we don't bend for one side, so we don't start fear say it will fall. That day only shock they became a feed die because the thing fall the way any man get shock.
Even some people the day when they pass and the cable, the naked cable they are for road from my front door where they pass every day. So the fear say if care is not taken, you say and say some man go die for here. But with the pray say me they come. But they can do the work quick so that make all people be safe because no man no dey sleep.
Not far from these houses is another pole that leads to a junction visibly leaning over the road, and it has been like this for over 2 months. Cars pass under the wires, risking electric shocks. This carefree attitude is not only evidence from ENEO officials, but clearly also from the local councillors in the area, reflecting a culture of responding to calamities rather than preventing them. Although ENEO had previously committed to using iron poles to prevent them from falling during rainy season, the project had been short-lived and with limited impact. Many wooden poles still expose dangerous bare wires that ignite when it rains. Well, in such cases, one would have expected consumer rights organizations to bring pressure on ENEO to react. Unfortunately, it would seem they do not exist here. However, Great Support residents, like many others in Buea, are anxiously awaiting God's intervention to prompt the ENEO officials, who never fails to deliver their electric bills, to come to their aid before a disaster strikes.
Out of Cameroon's borders to our foreign news, mental health experts in Nigeria have prescribed counseling as a way of managing anger, anxiety and stress caused by the present high cost of living and inflation in the country. And Mali's ruling junta has placed a ban on the media, prohibiting it from reporting activities of political parties as well as associations. Matilda Bison tells us more on our foreign news roundup.
Heavy rains and flooding have caused destruction in several parts of Kenya. The natural disaster occurred on Thursday. According to media reports, the flooding puts the death toll at 11, with over 2,000 people displaced. The incidence of the flooding is further compounded by high rate of animal conflict. In Kirinyaga County, flood waters swept away community roads, paralyzing transport services. Kenya's Meteorological Department had forecast heavy rains and warned the country was set to experience very high rainfall and asked people to prepare for floods. A day after suspending all political activities in the country until further notice, Mali's ruling junta on Thursday banned the media from reporting on the activities of political parties and associations. The ban, issued by Mali's High Authority for Communication, was distributed on social media. The ban applies to all forms of the media, including television, radio, online, and print newspapers. Mali has experienced 2 coups since 2020, leading to a wave of political instability that has swept across West and Central Africa in recent years. Along with its political troubles, the country is also in the grip of a worsening insurgency by militants linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group. Africa's most populous country, Nigeria, is facing its biggest economic crisis in decades, with the number of impoverished Nigerians increasing. Going by the World Bank's Nigeria Development Update report, the free fall of the naira and an alarming surge in the cost of living caused the rise from 89.8 million at the beginning of 2023 to 104 million. The high cost of living is being attributed to the soaring inflation and the high exchange rate. Mental health experts and advocates have warned the present situation is having an impact on anger, anxiety, stress, and depression levels in the country. Ayodeji Michael Oni, a Lagos-based psychotherapist and mental health advocate, says Nigerians are being pushed to the brink by factors beyond their control.
The economic situation of the country, is tearing a lot of people apart. But I can tell you categorically that somebody that is mentally stable will not break down totally. What do I mean? A woman that is being abused from home, the husband is abusing her domestically, the same woman gets on the bus and conductor is harassing her and everything. If you see that kind of woman shout and have an outburst, it is not just because of the conductor. There are a lot of underlying factors. So someone that is angry before, something that happens, there's a trigger.
The mental health advocate wants more awareness and advocacy to tackle the menace of mental health illnesses in the country. However, due to the myth and stigma associated with mental health in Nigeria, a deeply religious country, seeking counseling or a therapist is seen by some in the West African nation as a sign of weakness. But with apps like Friend Pal, an online psychotherapy platform, conversations around its benefits are growing. The platform is a mobile application that leverages the power of technology to help Nigerians and Africans struggling with mental health. While platforms like these improve access to mental health services, some experts believe there is also a need for interventions on the part of the government.
That reports on our foreign page, rendered by Matilda Bison, concludes Divine Mercy Prime tonight. But prior to us parting, let's review once more the headlines. The Commission for Catholic Education this Friday examined best possible ways to bring in profitable education to young Cameroonians. Members of the Commission at the National Episcopal Conference of Cameroon are meeting in Yaoundé, and the residents of Great Support neighborhood in Boya are currently grappling with the alarming presence of the falling Eneo electric poles and exposed wires. This hazardous situation has become a common occurrence in the area, causing concerns and fears among the residents. Thank you for watching Divine Mercy Prime. Stay tuned for more interesting, educative and beautiful programs at DMR TV. While wishing you a happy weekend, we wish to render sincere gratitude to all who view DMR TV, and a special good night's rest to all bishops gathered at the National Episcopal Conference there in Yaoundé, Cameroon. Have a wonderful weekend.